Hi, Pet the Podcast Editor here. What does it take to write a script that converts customers? Well, today, Dan and Lloyd discuss the importance of your scripts and how small choices can have a big impact.
You might say a word or phrase that turns off 2% of people. If you're putting paid spend behind that, you're going to exaggerate that result. So rather than like 20 people going, oh, no, not for me, maybe 200,000 people get switched off. You get a much worse return on your investment.
We also explore some of the ways that Dan and Lloyd make sure their videos are relatable and hook in the right audiences.
We had a title come up after the hook, a title on screen saying Creative Marketing Agency, the edgy one. So that's, if you're in marketing, there's literally the word marketing on the screen. If there's any doubt, then you're going, oh, this is a thing relevant to marketers. That's me.
Yeah.
This is a video made for me that I should watch.
Right, let's get stuck in. This is episode 84 of the Business Anchors podcast.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. This jingle is slightly too long.
Why are we talking about script writing, Lloyd? Surely we can just wing it when speaking on video like we used to.
Well, you could wing it. You can wing it if you want, but if you've got specific goals you're trying to achieve, then language and communication are actually really important. It's important to be specific with that language.
Because I remember when we started making videos, I don't think we ever scripted anything, did we?
No.
Or we're like, we would.
So.
I remember just.
Or we kind of have bullet points.
And like, let's try and talk about this. And it just took ages and they weren't that good. And then I think when we realised, and we don't mean scripting as in like this isn't completely scripted. We're not reading off a bit of paper now.
No, we are not. Pause for Dan to laugh. No, we're not.
But by script, like, explain what we mean by scripting, Lloyd. So that because why will anchors give a shit about this episode? Basically, what value are they?
Well, I suppose if you're into like creativity and script writing and video, you'd be very interested, but also more about like communication and how in your marketing or in your anything you do that you want to communicate to anyone in the world, basically.
So the marketing.
The importance of, mainly marketing, the importance of that. So especially with the sort of stuff we do. So we create videos for online platforms and social paid ad campaigns. If you're creating a video and you're going to post it organically on the internet somewhere. So say I'm going to post a video to Instagram
Bebo.
Reels or Bebo or MySpace.
Yeah.
Then you might say a word or phrase that turns off 2% of people. As in like, you kind of show that you're not an expert in this thing because you use the wrong terminology. You might use a certain word. If you post that organically, 2 people might go, I'm going to stop watching that. If you're using that for if you're putting paid spend behind that
so more people see it,
to let more people see it, which you do in marketing normally with anything, you're going to exaggerate that result. So rather than like 20 people going, oh, no, not for me, maybe 200,000 people get switched off. You get a much worse return on your investment. And it could be the same the other way. If you do something really positive, that those specific ways you communicate and that language you use, those words, those phrases, that laugh, that relatability, it's going to exaggerate and have a huge effect.
And we really understand this because when we're producing videos for clients, we have to really make sure that what's being said is the correct information. Like for your own company, you may be listening and have your own company. It's all like, oh, I know what I'm talking about. But if you're marketing and providing marketing services for someone else, you really need to make sure the wording is correct.
And the specificity of language and communication is much more important than people think. And there's a couple of examples that I've actually read or listened to this week. And one is one from Spotify. So this isn't a part of a video script or anything, but this is text that was on their platform. They changed free users to saying your subscription is currently free to your subscription is currently £0, 0 pence. And that change meant more people clicked the button underneath to sign up for a premium thing.
Wow.
So like a change of a word,
Yeah.
especially if you're a big business or you're planning to have thousands, 100,000, millions of people look at things, that might have got them another 200,000 users worldwide.
Yeah.
And there's another example in Facebook in the early years of Facebook when they were trying to basically increase their user base around the world. In the culture of Japan, it's seen as rude to invite people to. So say you're a Facebook user around the world. Normally, it's like you sign up and it goes, invite your friends, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I'll invite them. In Japan, obviously, I don't understand the Japanese culture well, but the guy that was in charge of this in Japan said it's seen as rude to kind of invite people to stuff like that. And they changed the word invite to announce that you're on Facebook. And suddenly it became one of the quickest growing countries for Facebook users where it was the slowest. So words have much more impact than you could ever imagine, especially if you're scaling them in a marketing context.
On that note, I want us to try something completely different that we've never done in Business Anchor's history, Lloyd. I want us to actually read through one of our most recent scripts for a Knowlton video and then dissect it and talk about why we've done what we've done. And by the way, this is mainly you because you...
Do you know what? That makes perfect sense as to why you printed the script and gave it to me for this episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did think it was weird.
But I think this would be a good way of a real life example of a video that we're producing today, actually. We're producing this video today. We haven't produced it yet. And this is the script that you've developed based on our...
Well, should we do what we do at Knowlton?
Yeah.
You're not usually involved in this process,
The table
Dan,
read.
but the production team and the creative team usually do a table read of a script when we have it.
Yeah.
As in, we read what the characters say, the bits in the script. Should we do that for
Yeah.
the business anchors? Give them an insight, and then afterwards we'll go into the detail.
Do you want to start by giving context of what this video is so that to tee people up and then we can...
Yeah. So, at Knowlton... what are we trying to achieve? Because we always tell you this is important to understand that. So I hope we understand that. We are trying to reach as many sort of marketing manager level people in brands and businesses around the UK. That's our main thing. And a secondary goal is to try and convince them we know what we're doing.
And convert them as clients.
Yes. Yeah. So this script is about a marketing meeting. Ooh, relatable. And Dan, so I'll play the role of Edgy Sean.
Okay.
Do you want to play the role of Ben?
Yep. Then we've got Boss Barbara as well in that.
Okay, shall I play Boss Barbara?
Yeah.
And you read the parts in between?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Cool. So this is a creative marketing agency meeting that we're going through. Shall we start?
Yeah. You ready? Yeah.
Okay. So, hook section. Quick 2 to 5 seconds of Edgy Sean enthusiastically shouting his edgy shit thoughts and ideas.
Fudge the client. Fudge the boss. No one say another word until you're over the drink drive limit.
What's that say? Title, creative marketing agency.
You can see, you can tell Dan isn't usually part of our table.
Cool.
So now, title on screen, creative marketing agency, the edgy one.
Cool. We see a group of creative marketers around a table ready to start a meeting.
We're here to discuss some creative ideas and concepts for some amazing brands. There's a lot to do, so let's get straight into it. Ben?
First up, we have Grenade. Protein bars, energy drinks, performance nutrition. Shot of team member about to speak. Whip pan to Edgy Sean, sat backwards on a chair in the corner, drinking directly out of the coffee pot.
We changed the pronunciation of grenade to...
We can't change the name of the brand, Sean.
Can't is just can with a T.
What?
Next page of the script. Right, yes. Sounds are more recognisable than words. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Sean looks around the room, encouraging others in the meeting to speak.
McDonald's? Grenade? I don't know of a brand of that name, but if you mean you'd be right for once, Barbara.
Sean, the client's not going to authorise that.
Fudge the client.
We can't though, can we, Sean? They pay us, and doing that with a client was what got you your first written warning from the boss.
Fudge the boss.
Whip pan to boss. Boss looked horrified. I'm not sure this is useful.
You're making a bad call, guys. In 2008, McDonald's ignored my McFudger idea, and they haven't recovered since.
I think they're doing all right, Sean.
Fudge Ronald.
Quietly in the background, whilst Barbara begins speaking.
Let's move on. The Ecology Project. They're focused on climate solutions, carbon reduction, and tree planting to try and undo the damage we're doing to the planet.
Wholesome stuff.
The video is triangle. No one's done it before.
But surely they haven't done it because none of our screens are triangle? And what video?
Also, the video is just constantly spinning.
Sean, that isn't a concept. That's just a spinning triangle.
I only drink Sambuca through my eye, and I only take eye drops through my mouth.
Sean, now we're just saying things to try and be edgy that have no link to this conversation.
These pages are very hard to turn, aren't they? Okay, fine. We get 100 of us in a room and we do a shot for every time there's a tree planted.
Shoot, Boss Barbara.
Oh. They've planted over 30 million trees, Sean. Exactly. If anyone is used to social norms and business as usual, you might want to step out. This is business as unusual.
Ben, okay. Sean, we're not going to get anywhere just shouting swear words at Knowlton. Oh, sorry, we're not going to get anywhere just shouting swear words. At Knowlton, we have processes and structure in place to maximise our creativity in ways that benefit our clients. Our concepts need strong hooks in the first 3 seconds, otherwise no one will watch. We need to engage the target market in the next couple of seconds, ensure the concept is relatable, and the viewer is thinking, this is for me.
Maybe it's not for them.
That doesn't make any sense, Sean.
Maybe that's a good thing.
You're saying anything to contradict the norm, but none of it makes any sense. We can't entertain this anymore.
Maybe our ads shouldn't be entertaining.
The entertainment in our ads is what allows us to engage the viewer for long enough to communicate what we need to about the brand we're representing.
Nice. That's kind of where we've got to with that. There's a few lines that didn't make the cut at the end here.
Go on,
one of my favourite is, the video is the ice cream and you're the cone. I'm the flake. I'm going to get inside the ice cream. Doesn't really make sense. That's probably why that doesn't make the cut.
We are also going to make a shortcut TikTok sketch video of you just saying edgy lines.
We need to push boundaries here. Mood boards put me in a bored mood. Let's make notes on the wall. Yeah, so obviously me and Dan were pretty bad at that.
Yeah, I've actually read through that properly, so that was...
And so that's pretty weird. But so let's talk through...
So what that was it was playing out a marketing meeting where there's a guy who's just trying to be edgy. Because, sometimes you get that in marketing. People are just trying to be weird because it's marketing. Like, let's do this, let's not...
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And... everyone, so if you're in a marketing department in a big business or you've worked in agencies, if you've been there a number of years, it's likely you've come across
an edgy Sean,
a character like edgy Sean, basically someone that's just coming up with different ideas or trying to do
spinning triangle,
but only for the sake of it, not to actually benefit anything.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea. We spoke in the last episode about how it needs to be ultra relatable to your audience, and this is someone in our world, in the world of marketing. And the world of kind of creative strategy and stuff, there's always an edgy Sean who's just trying to be different and weird.
So what I think's really clever about this is, so it hooks you in instantly. Like there's this weird edgy character who's dressed really weird and saying relatable stuff. And it basically hooks you in and grabs your attention and is relatable long enough for us to then actually communicate some sales messages that are talking about why Knowlton are good. Like if you were listening, the final part of the video is like, well, at Knowlton, we don't just do that. We do this, this, and this. Rather than this just being a sales video, like, come work with us at Knowlton. We can do creative stuff.
Exactly. And that first point, we spoke in the last episode about a thumb-stopping hook to a video. And you might have noticed here, it starts with Dan Reddit. Quick 2 to 5 seconds of edgy Sean enthusiastically shouting his edgy shit thoughts and ideas. Fudge the client. By the way, I said fudge instead of, because I just, I didn't want to
Curse.
You guys. Fudge the client, fudge the boss. No one say another word until you're over the drink drive limit. So,
Ridiculous.
If we're thinking about standard storytelling, that's not the start of the story. That's just some random funny
the
lines
hook.
he said. But because it's an online ad, we need to hook people in with this kind of stuff to make sure we get their attention at the start. So that's why it's there. If you were just telling this story, you would have just started with Barbara saying, we're here to discuss some creative ideas and concept for some amazing brands. But that's not going to get the attention that shouting fudge the client, fudge the boss and is going to get at the start.
And I think this has also got the light bulb moments that we always speak about. When you see Edgy Sean, like we show what you shouldn't be doing in a marketing meeting to come up with creative ideas, it then gives us the ability to then position Knowlton as this is how you should be doing it, rather than doing it like Edgy Sean with his spinning triangle.
Yeah, it's that light bulb moment that we've spoken about in previous episodes. You need the viewers and the people you're trying to convince to have that thing of saying, oh, that's me, I need that. And where we're taking the mickey in an exaggerated way out of a creative meeting where basically you need to come up with some great ideas for your marketing projects and it's tough. And then we add a bit in with a relatable character kind of saying, oh, at Knowlton, we do this. And it's kind of like, it's supposed to be that thing of, I need that. So I stop wasting time in these creative meetings and we're not coming up with good enough ideas.
So I guess to provide value to some of the listeners, you're one of the people that writes these kinds of scripts. What advice do you have, or what approach do you take to write these scripts that could be useful to listeners? Is there any tips that you've got?
Well, there's lots of things that we've spoken about previously. I guess we've already spoken about the hook. That's so key at the start. We need it to be relatable, just like we were talking about in a lot of things relating to the previous episode. But you need it to be relatable to who you're trying to get in front of. For this, obviously, it's marketers, and that's why it's a marketing meeting setting. You need people to think, this is for me. So even elements like we had a title come up after the hook, a title on screen saying Creative Marketing Agency, the edgy one. So that's, if you're in marketing, there's literally the word marketing on the screen. If there's any doubt, then you're going, oh, this is a thing relevant to marketers. That's me.
Yeah.
This is a video made for me that I should watch. So that's really important early on in the video.
Where do you, just a random question, but you're really good at coming up with these characters. Where do you get inspiration for these characters from when you're writing stuff? And for our client campaigns, we've had a whole raft of interesting characters in client concepts. Where do you get the inspiration from?
So a few places. One, we've mentioned this before to the anchors, not from ads. So basically, if you're looking in your own industry, what's the best marketing ad? You're not going to find really good characters and really entertaining. So from the best things, so from shows like The Office, that's like
Peep Show,
seen as one of the best comedies ever made and stuff, for sitcoms, get your inspiration from characters on there, and also real life, exaggerated versions of people you meet in real life. We've done episodes before about networking. One of our first episodes talking about that, and we've met some really interesting characters, like the lady that tried to heal you with stones and stuff. Exactly, and there's characters that are exaggerated versions of the guy that tried to tell me that cows would explode if we didn't drink milk at a networking event. That guy, he's a nice guy, he's funny, but obviously an exaggerated version of him is a great character. But I think those trying to create those relatable but kind of exaggerated characters in this kind of video is really key. One big tip as well. So, Dan, I don't think you're aware, but this was actually the first draft of this script, and it's been improved since. And one of my biggest tips is, if you're writing a script, or even if it's not a script like this, and you're just writing notes for your first video, and you're kind of just writing almost a story because you haven't done this before, or you're writing bullet points, get someone else to read it and be really critical with feedback. Because so this was my first draft. Ellie, who's a great part of our team, our production team, now knows, I won't be offended if she basically just writes notes all over the scripts like, this is bad, this should be cut, this could be funnier. And that's what she did for me yesterday, actually, when I did the second draft for this script. And it's so helpful because perfection is too much for any one person, and obviously with stuff like this, it's like you're trying to get the closest you can to perfection of how good this video can be, how relatable it could be, how entertaining it could be, how well you can persuade the viewers to do what you want them to do and take the action. And it's just too much for one person. If you get someone else's eyes on it that has the confidence to be really critical, it's very helpful. Why are you smiling?
No, just because you always get me to look at this kind of thing as well, and it's always a good sign when I'm really laughing to myself and reading it. And this was one of those where things like the spinning triangle video just really tickled me.
That's actually another point I was going to make.
Oh, go on.
A tip. So
ridiculous.
We usually, like, scripts like this, obviously this is our working environment, we send it to each other for feedback and stuff. And you're the first person I got to read this, Dan, and I deliberately watched your reaction while you were reading it, because it's such a key. We always talk about triggering emotion in people, and that's what really helps in marketing, how you're going to get people to take actions and feel something. And with a lot of this, we're trying to trigger like joy, and we're trying to make people laugh and that kind of thing. When Dan was reading this, there was a few bits where he literally laughed out loud while he was reading it, and then I said, "Oh, what were you laughing at there?" Because it's kind of like that's the first experience of, okay, one person's looking at the script, and this part's already making them laugh out loud and triggering emotion. So obviously we need more bits like that. We need more of that. And any bits where he was just kind of silently reading, you probably think, okay, there's probably a bit of a gap there where there's not enough. So doing that and getting someone's reaction before it goes to the world.
This really bit was one of the bits that made me laugh as well, where he says, "I only drink Sambuca through my eye, and I only take eye drops through my mouth." It's like, how'd you come up with this ridiculous shit?
That is the benefit of having very strange thoughts. Is that
it's so edgy,
become useful when you're trying to write a script that's supposed to be funny.
I found that quite interesting. I hope that was interesting to the listeners. I know this is a bit of a different style of podcast episode, but we thought we'd give it a go. Yeah. And hopefully you found this useful.
And if anyone, this gives you a bit more of an insight into our business and the random things that we do that are such an important part of our world that might not be part of your world in the different business anchors. Listeners' homes and workplaces. But if you want to hear any more, like see or hear any more parts in detail about what we do, let us know, because we're just trying to do the best stuff for you, really, whatever you'll be interested in.
And this video will be live when this podcast is out, so go to our LinkedIn or my LinkedIn.
It'll be the one with millions of views. People just going, "Oh my God, this deserves an Oscar."
And if you have found this useful and you think anyone else would be interested, please do tell them about the Business Anchors podcast so that we can spread the love and get more people in our little community of anchors.
And if you have any expertise in script writing, please let me know. I want to learn and improve everything we're doing. And I'm open to your critical feedback.
See you next week in your ears.
See you in your ears.